Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Donjo number FL-208NM-SL. I've got one here that we can pull out of the packaging and take a closer look at it. This is a security strike. I can't say that there's anything that would be, really off limits to use when it comes to this. It's a fairly generic piece of material, and probably the most important aspect to you when considering whether or not to use this is are the dimensional properties conducive with what you're wanting to mitigate. It could be that you've got some damage on the frame that might be 6 inches tall, and you're looking for something that you can chisel away, clean out all the damage, and install a new strike. This could, because of the very long slotted hole, be appropriate for perhaps a mortise lock where you need to fit a latch and a bolt into the hole. It could be that you are relocating some damage on a door and the center line is not going to work exactly for what you're working on because your damage might be lower. So you want to bring that down a little bit because your latch is fixed on the door, your center line, or maybe it's the opposite direction, okay, whatever the case might be. Or maybe you've installed a door where the door location, maybe you've drilled the hole in the wrong vertical location. That happens too. Well, you can kind of save the day. Just get yourself a strike like this and, position it so that it's accordingly, compatible with what you've installed or what you've drilled, and, may not be the end of the world. What we do have here is also your screw package. You'll notice you've got 2 shorts and 2 longs. The longs, which are slightly smaller in size, they're going to go towards the inside of the strike or towards the face of the stop of the frame. That's because in typical sort of construction, doesn't mean this is the way that yours is, but it could be. Here's an installation. Well, the truth of the matter is, where do you want to run those long screws? Out here, or do you want to run them back in here so they hit the stud? And that's where those screws are meant to go. Okay. So you're going to use the long screws, and they're pretty long. They got to be every bit of 3 inch. Yeah, 3 inch. Okay. The shorter ones are probably 1 inch in length. They're probably a number 12. I would estimate the smaller ones to be a number 10, maybe a 9, something in that range. Absolutely pre-drill those holes and drill them correctly in terms of the size. I was taught that the hole of the drill should be the diameter of the root of the body, less the threads. I've also been told that that number should be about 80% of the root diameter of what you're drilling into. I would probably go with closer to 80% when I'm dealing with something that I want to have better withdrawal strength than otherwise. If you're getting to a point where you're running that screw in and you're slipping and you're not getting the screw into where you need it to go, I would recommend removing it and going up a wire size larger. Maybe not a fractional size on a drill bit, but if you have drill bits that are wire size, they're far more closely incrementally positioned from one another. Your Phillips driver has to be perfectly fitted. A number 3 for the big screws, a number 2 for the bottom ones. You want to put that in nice and straight. You want the head of that screw to be right where you want it to be. I'd probably put one up at the top, then get one down at the bottom, then work my 2 shorter screws here and here. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna say that backwards. I would work the smaller ones first, better control, get the strike in position. Then you can focus on making a really nice straight insertion with your longer screws. You want those screws to sit flush. You don't want them sitting out. It might be a position where the door is so close that they'll actually hit the head of the screw. Elegance in the installation process is always, I'm sure, the difference between a really excellent looking job and one otherwise. Okay. Now let's take some dimensional properties and let's go over it. Help you determine if this is the right strike. Overall height of the strike, 8 inch. overall width, there's a link below this video to a document called Template. Yes, it is called Template. And you can review the dimensional properties of the item. We did confirm that it's 8-inch. We got an overall width of, according to them, 1 7/8. I'd say it's just ever so shy on that. The important part is to notice, you know, your door thickness. The dimension from the stop face to where the strike prep is going to be, the center line of the latch preparation in your door so that it's compatible with the positioning of where you want the hole in the strike plate to be, where the lip falls to occur. So the thing to kind of do is to study that. You can see where the lip starts to occur right at about 1.5 inches. Okay, you're going to come all the way out to about 1 13/16. Okay, to the edge of the preparation of the hole of the slot is about 1/4 inch, 3/4 by 3.5 according to the manufacturer. Indeed. Okay, obviously SL, that means two things: it's made of steel, and that it's also in a silver paint. You can also get this in a BP for a brass plated, a WH for a white as well. The location of the holes for the screws are there for you to review that material. The manufacturer states that this is 13 gauge thick, which according to the template is 90 thousandths. According to my caliper, it's 0.094. 0.094. So there you go. Not insignificant in its thickness. There's then also a link below this video to a document called Product Catalog. Well, that's pretty handy because it will allow you to review not only the FL208NM, but its sister products as it pertains to other associated strikes. You can pull that document up and then search by FL-208NM. You'll get to the catalog section where it's located, and you'll see the images and the table of the other available items. The FL208NM, I'm still not always positive of their naming structure, but you can kind of pick out, you know, the 8 in the part number, that's 8-inch. The 12 in the bigger size, well, that's going to be 12-inch. The table that's to the right of that, look at the dimension column, and I would probably use that to focus down on what you're looking for and be mindful of the dimensions that they're giving and how it relates to what you're, you know, working with. You might very likely want the 1 3/4 version because this might just be too small for you, and you might want one a little bit larger. Well, that part number's there. You might want the 12-inch version. That's there as well. The AST 2134M, that would be something much larger, 18-inch in length. Sometimes that stuff happens. The table there tells you how the preparation is for the holes, so maybe start there. One long slot, one small slot. Do you need 2 holes in either a 3 5/8, 4-inch center to center, or a 5.5 or 6-inch center to center? So that might dictate the direction you go in. And then again, that catalog will allow you to review this and all of the other security strikes from Danjo. And if you have more than an occasional need for this material, I would certainly encourage you to review the entire catalog, because you may be unaware of the broad spectrum of available security strikes from Danjo. The last page gives you a worksheet that would permit you to order from us a custom strike. And I find those to be quite expensive because of the labor, but they can do it. You might have an application where you absolutely have to have a custom strike because maybe a very unusual thickness or maybe a requirement to relocate something. It could be that getting out of the problem that requires a custom strike is less than the significant upcharge for a custom strike to begin with. And a custom strike will very often allow you to mitigate a problem, albeit expensively, in a very elegant way. We deal with people very often that are forced within the constraints of historical limitations. A building built literally just after the Civil War. There's not a lot you're permitted to do on that stuff, but hardware still needs to work. And the hardware that was on the door stopped working in the 1950s, and its replacement stopped working in the 2015s, the 2010s, I should say. So sometimes a custom strike will allow you to get elegantly out of a problem. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Donjo products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Any questions on the Donjo FL208NM-SL, Strike, or any other Donjo product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.